I am not sure which direction to take. I have 100,000 ideas, and I'm getting really excited about taking this idea to the parents, essentially teaching parents how to teach their kids the things that I teach them, because that's a lot of what I do in group meetings. I'll meet with parents and then they go, what do I do? How do I support my kid? Where do I back off? Where do I step in? And so I've got a lot of great content that I can roll out to parents. Do I focus on something small, like a mini course, or do I go into a more big, involved course? I guess since all my knowledge is one-on-one, how do I best start the momentum online with this stuff?
Like to scale that out, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, depending on your content that you're considering creating, I actually see this as more of a membership product, honestly. I'm assuming that a lot of the psychology components of what you do are similar, or they're not as dependent on the sport. Would that be correct?
Yeah, yep, definitely all carries across.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe you would have a type of membership product for individual sport athletes, and maybe I'm just sort of thinking out loud here, but as you were talking about what you do, it sort of popped in my head that challenges might be a good thing for you. So maybe you could have a 10-day challenge, a 30-day challenge to get past certain mental blocks, or I don't know your terminology, obviously.
For sure.
But yeah, I was just thinking that might be a good solution for you. And then you could market those to different sports at different times of the year.
Yeah, and I think that, we had a good discussion with you in the forums the other day about this. And, our son Isaac, he's a swimmer. Okay, we've talked about that on the show before. But our son Isaac also has anxiety. When things change or when something new happens, he doesn't really respond to that well. He usually can get past it, but he's not going to do it right in that instance. For example, we had a swim meet the other day. Isaac has always been a freestyle swimmer and a backstroke swimmer. Well, all of a sudden, the coach signed him up for butterfly. Now, he knows how to do butterfly, but he had never done it in a competition, and the anxiety just overwhelmed him and he freaked out. He almost won the race, was what was hilarious, So we can point to that and say, look, dude, you could do it, but he was literally in tears. But I'm willing to bet that common problem of anxiety is something that you could create content around, like how to overcome performance anxiety, like how to get off the starting block, whether it's athlete, whatever. That's probably a common thing that you could generalize, create. So now when a parent comes to you, whatever the sport, and they say, I don't know how to help my kid through his anxiety. Oh, well, that's cool. If you join my membership, we'll help you get through his anxiety. And then I have lots of other trainings for whatever aspects come up, or you can just ask me questions through the forums in my community. So I think you're on point here talking to the parents. There's no way you're going to be able to talk to every team and every player. That's not how this is going to scale, What you got to do is you've got to become the teacher for the teacher. You've got to provide the resources and the direction and the pathway for the parent to overcome these challenges as they come along. Some of those resources might be for the kid, but I think most of them are, like you said earlier, what do I do? I would have paid at that moment $100 to figure out how to help my kid not cry on the pool deck. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there is a need for this and there's a value to it. You just got to figure out a way to generalize it.
So I think that the thing that we have to go to next is what you're saying at the beginning is that, that you do have all these ideas. So which one should you start with?
Yeah.
So I feel what you're saying there. So
what are the common problems? If I said right now, the three things you deal with the most in psychology, if you're coaching these athletes, what are the three biggest mindset hurdles? What are they?
Number one, anxiety.
Okay.
Number two is confidence, which kind of leads into control. It's all related to anxiety. They feel like they don't have control. They lose confidence. They get anxious.
Okay.
And then the other one is motivation. So it's the kids who their parents see potential, their coaches see potential, but they don't put in enough work to really get where they could go.
So what I would do, I would start small. It's easy to set up a membership community. We've got a training that'll do that in a day or two. You know what I mean? Okay. But what I would do from a content perspective is start small. Start with the anxiety. Don't focus on the sport or the individual or whatever. Say, I have a thing that helps you, the parent, deal with your kid's sports anxiety. Once you've got that content that you can see that they can go in and consume it, then you'll be able to work with them. You'll be able to talk with them. They'll be able to ask you questions. And then you can say, oh, by the way, there's also my next course is going to be about motivation. Stick around. You see what I'm saying? And you can just build this brick by brick as you go. Don't try to create a course for every single problem. Pick a problem, the most common problem that all of your athletes usually deal with, and that's where we'll start at, targeting the parent as the avatar.
You just listened to an excerpt from this week's Flip Lifestyle podcast. To listen to the full podcast, complete with the show notes, photos, and links mentioned in the show, click the link on the description below. You can click on these to listen to Shane and Jocelyn answer other important questions about online business from this week's guest. For updates on future episodes, make sure you click subscribe.